You know they got that same name with different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. They got that same name, different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. Keisha and Keshia,
knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. Keisha, you don't got it, you can get some if you heard them.
Keisha and Keshia, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment.
Keisha
you don't got it, you can get some if you heard them. We gon' laugh, have a good time. Just sit back and elevate your mind.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, welcome back. It's Thursday night.
Woohoo! It's been a long week.
Yes,
I know that if you live in Chicago, you are glad that those 2 days have passed by. I was talking to one of my sisters, well, look, all of them, doing a few wellness checks, but I guess I was off a day because they was telling me it was only for 1 day. 2 days, and I thought it was just yesterday, but they had some crazy below zero crazy weather. So to all my family and friends in Chicago, I hope you guys stay safe, stay out that foolishness. Took these couple of days to kind of reflect, get it together, do your thing. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in and continue to support our podcast and staying warm.
I know. I hit my girl up in Chicago. I texted her this morning, are you warm? She said, girl, I haven't been out in 2 days. She said, it's -40. I said, shit, the front door.
Now, let me tell you, and somebody asked me, well, what do they do during that time? I remember growing up, and it would get that cold. And it was just one of those things where I'm telling you on everything I love, it's like, if like you get sunburn here, you will get, your skin will burn if it's not covered up. Like it has to be covered up when it's that low. As soon as you go outside, whatever exposed skin is going to have like a burn on it. It's almost like exposed skin in the sun. But at any rate, let's talk about some of these. I thought I put some little quick topics in there. I know we didn't finish up our show from last week, so we're going to get back to that. But is there a difference between affluence and influence?
Yes.
Not in the definition term.
Oh, I was like, what?
I get that part. I'm talking about in regards to, I guess, society. Because are there people who are not affluent that have a lot of influence, and that are people who
The book is covering your mouth.
My mouth? Okay, sorry. We're going to get to this book a little bit later. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out, are we, are there people who are affluent but don't have any influence? And there are people who don't have influence that are, am I saying the same thing backwards?
You good. I'm tagging people.
Okay,
Go ahead.
all right. Because you got to do that like when we prepping up.
It just came up, baby.
Okay.
She
Well,
just
wait,
went
go
live
ahead.
and I know you're not talking because before we got started, how long did it take you to get that stand up? Go ahead. You keep talking.
No, I ain't talking to myself.
Okay. You're not talking to yourself.
Well, get it together.
All right. Keisha, do what you doing. Don't worry about me, boo.
Come on. I'm ready for the show.
If you don't go ahead and do what you're
Why
doing.
don't you ask Peaches who's here? Hey, Peaches, maybe I'll talk to Peaches.
Thank you.
It's not a thank you. What you're doing is rude.
How is that rude?
Because it's a show with two people talking to each other, and you over here doing something other than talking to the other person on the show.
I'm tagging people so they can see the show.
I didn't ask what you were doing. I'm just saying.
You said what I'm doing is rude, and I'm not doing anything rude but tagging people to the show.
I'm trying to talk, and you over there.
It just came up to tag. All the time that you've been doing this, we were not shooting live.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll wait. Till you done. Peaches, you have a little scarf on. Ain't no thank you. You being rude. We on live TV and you over there. That's rude. What you been up to? You got a scarf all around your neck.
Girl, I got a respiratory infection, so you know the kid been down for the count.
Now, I will tell you this. They were talking about that on how you have to be careful, when you get sick, which brings us back to one of our recaps on Kim Porter. You know, she died of pneumonia, and it wasn't something that definitely could have probably been prevented if she would. Because sometimes, we do home treatments and we do all that kind of stuff before it gets
I was hot-tied it up for about a week.
Right, and then you go. But the other thing, too, is that there are a lot of people who actually will go get the antibiotics, and the antibiotics don't because they have a virus, And so with viruses, those are things that are just get cured. It works itself out, and you just have to take things to help you with the discomfort that comes with it. But you getting antibiotics is not going to help it. Yeah. And so they were saying how many people get misdiagnosed with that and how often that happens, and then you build up this immunity to whatever antibiotic they gave you, and so now it don't work at all when you really get it and sick like that, which could happen if you had pneumonia and you have been taking, you know, because sometimes when you're wealthy, you know, you might get in a position where you go in and get a Z-Pack or do whatever, and her body can build up an immune system to it. I don't know. All right, so then outside of that, I was watching Killer Mike, and I know he's a rapper, and he had a bunch of stuff going on or whatever, and so they had made a comment about white women are looked at as success. It was a comment that, what's his name, Nick Cannon had made. And so he was saying how, you know, Nick Cannon had basically was like, they're seen as success. So when you are successful as a man, that's the first thing you want to go get. And he was like, and then you want to have as many as you can, because then that's just showing, hey, I can have whoever I want, or whatever the case may be. And the reason why they had brought it up is because his wife, he was talking about his wife and how much she has been in his corner, and how because of her, they have wealth, because she'll go out and she'll spend money buying properties, doing all this kind of stuff.
Killer Mike's wife.
And he was like, he know that he would not. He said he would have tricked all his money off on, you know, drugs and women and everything if it was for his wife. And he was like, and as a result of her having his back, he was able to like do a lot of stuff. And still have a lot of wealth. But he was spitting a lot of knowledge. And I was like, all right, Killer Mike. But a lot of times I think that in recapping the show we had done before, I have a girlfriend at work, and she just got engaged. And the cutest little thing, just got engaged. And this chick says to her, which was not a black woman, what are you, pregnant? And I was just like, so we've had a couple of people get engaged who are not black. That question didn't come up. And I hate it when people try to make it feel like you're being sensitive.
No, that was rude as hell. I'd have been like, were you when you got married?
Right, and I was just like,
that was rude.
Who goes out and like says something like that to somebody? But it goes back to what we were saying about the fact that the way black men and women are viewed. You know, we're viewed in a position where people always expect us to be less than. And so I was like, so you just thought she was pregnant? She can't be a 26-year-old woman,
beautiful woman who done fell in love
right,
with
right, with another guy who don't have a baby mama, no kids either, and both of them are doing well successfully, and they fall in love and want to be married. You know what I'm saying?
She might would have got flashed on.
Right. Because I think when I got engaged, I was 26. I think I got married about 27, 28. And neither one of us had kids. You know, we were college sweethearts. So it was one of those things where it's like, why does that seem like a unicorn to see black people actually who don't come with a... I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what another thing Killer Mike was saying, how there's that stereotype of the way people see not only black women but black people period, is that you got to be in one of these crazy situations where all this stuff is happening to you in order for you to like get married or want to do, you know, do some other things. Like you just can't be successful. Or, and I'm thinking like, that's just being a human being. What's wrong with just being a human being? Like I don't get it. It's just it's unfortunate. All right, but anyway, so I was talking about affluence against influence, and he was talking about how we get sucked in a vacuum, and it's like a desert in our community where you have people who make it out, but they'll have aunts and uncles and cousins that are there, and then don't either like go and help them buy the property that they own to prevent gentrification, or go back and invest or do some other stuff.
Neighborhood.
And so what's happening is that he's saying that, you know, when you think about influence and the influence that you have, like Marshawn Lynch, for example, you know, everybody, and I think in here, it was put in here about him with his voting or whatever. But one thing he has done, he realized in Oakland that they were starting to gentrify. And he went in front of them and bought up a bunch of property to sell back to the people who are in the hood, making it affordable for them to own their own homes. And the guy Mike was talking about that, and he was like, here you have these businesses that are owned by these people who are Arab, that are just of different cultures. They come over here, they want a chance to do something, and maybe they scrounge up enough money and save enough money to like own a liquor store or whatever. And he was like, or maybe a gas station. And they've shown that they are, you know, now they have 2 and they're consistent with it or whatever.
And they send back for
correct. And they said not only on top of that, the big banks are not offering the money. It's the black-owned banks that are taking a chance on them and offering them the money so that they can have these businesses which turn into 10 or 20, 30 businesses.
Yeah.
And so it's like the same banks you won't bank with are the ones that will offer up money for these small businesses so that they can survive, these mom and pop shops, these gas stations. And he says, and a lot of people who are of descent that's not African American are the ones that are benefiting from it because we too busy trying to put all our money in some big bank. Yeah, that's taking all your money from insufficient funds or just some other foolishness. So we were talking about that, and I thought that was just interesting. And I feel like we have a lady named Ms. Gainey who is civics teacher and history teacher at school, and she's offering up a program that's going to go every Tuesday at a local church that's here. And she's going to do a civics class. So she's going to talk about... She's
coming to Striving, ain't she?
Huh?
I think she's coming to Striving.
No.
Beulah.
You said Beulah, but Striving had the little thing. So basically she's going to teach, you know, people just about the things that you don't remember. Because you might have had civics in high school, or you might have had it when you were in, you know, depending on what your degree is in college, or you just really didn't do well in it, but you want to be more of an active participant. And I thought that was kind of cool. So it's like, I think she's doing it over like 10 or 12 weeks. And I was like, that's a big commitment. So I said I was going to go, and I didn't go this week. I wasn't feeling good, but I am going to go and stop in there and see what she's up to. All right. The next thing was desegregation, good or bad? And I've always had this problem because I honestly believe on everything that I love that a lot of how blacks were successful and what they were doing is when you did not have a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Black
so
Wall Street, black banks, black,
yes.
Yeah.
And they were talking about in Montgomery before they did the bus boycott, you couldn't really ride those buses. So there was a black man who started a bus system and people did that. So it was like so many opportunities that you had.
Madam C.J. Walker and all these millionaires and inventors.
I mean,
you ain't gonna talk.
How can I?
Okay. I'll keep
The rambling had to stop.
I'm not doing it.
I'm
not doing it today.
So
I'm not doing it today.
You go.
It's cool.
Girl, you normally jump in any other time. You better stop.
Shut down.
Flag on that play. So anyway, then he was talking. No, because I got time for it. He was saying that is desegregation. So my grandfather, rest his soul, he's 80 years old, and before he passed away, that was one of the things that he said. He was saying how even though it was supposed to be an opportunity to bring equality amongst people, all it did was made it so that more whites could just kind of like do slavery at another level. Yeah,
it took away our own independence and it took away our own pride and made us more dependent on them, which is what it you know, because I mean I agree with that once we did become desegregated or whatever that we lost like you say, the desire for us to do our own and not have to depend on nobody, because we was doing our own farming, we was doing our own banking, we had our own businesses that we went to and shop. You know what I'm saying? Look at how the boycott affected the bus systems and everything. So,
but I think also too, it's one of those things where when you think about when it's just like anything, when you aspire to be something that you're not, it was almost like we gave being affluent to. As a term, you had to be white to have a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Or you had to associate with to have a bunch of money. And instead of it just being affluent because you worked hard, earned your business, you know, had your business, did the things that you needed to do, that wasn't good enough. What it had to be was you had to act like you were white or have the 2.5 family or because one thing I noticed when I was in college was how their nuclear family is just that. Like, they don't really extend out past that, you know. And I remember a kid when I was teaching who was talking about how he wanted to be a part of wanted to go to a family reunion because he was like, I've never been to one. And he was like, I have a big family, but we just didn't do family reunions, you know. He's like, some people would get together or whatever, but it was never like a big family reunion. He's like, I just want to go, give me a t-shirt. I was like, you know you're not going to blend in too well. He's like, that's okay. But I figure if I had a t-shirt on, everybody at least be like, so, who you with?
who your folks?
But I don't know. The last time we tried to do a family reunion with our family, it we did it at this huge park, and then there was like a bunch of, it was crazy. But anyway, I really hope my cousins, I've been thinking about that lately, about a lot of my cousins, because my mom, my grandmother, and all of her siblings are starting to really die off. And so, because they're getting, they're getting old. And my son doesn't really know pretty much that part of the family, or on either side, my father's side, who I didn't grow up around. So that was interesting. All right, next thing. Is there something wrong with nepotism? And
wait,
this is something
what's
else
nepotism?
when you afford somebody something because you related to them.
You hire
So
them.
like I will, it's like an inheritance. So DJ will inherit my business, or my cousin, because I know them, I had this relationship with them, I will give them a job without,
Only because you're related to them, not because they actually are qualified.
No, that's not it.
No, that is nepotism.
No. It's not only because.
That's the part of nepotism, is being related. It's not because you are actually able to do the job. It's because I know you, so I give you a job. In other
Like
words,
a hookup.
Yeah, like a hookup. Not because I read your resume and I know what your resume is about. It's about because DJ's your son. You make sure he's the next person for this job, not because he actually went through the steps of being qualified.
The only reason why the qualified part that I don't sit well with me is because there are people who are not related to folks that will give people jobs because they're not qualified and they don't have any relationship to them. So I think
That's
just
not
that
nepotism.
part
Though.
It just says the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them a job.
Yeah. So more so you're related to them. I mean, being
Yeah.
qualified for
Yeah.
the job, I can be qualified.
Yeah, it's
I can come
'cause
in
you're
as a
related.
qualified applicant and I'm still get the job.
But that's not the reason. That's the part about nepotism. It's not whether or not you're qualified or not. It's because they know you. They're not going off your qualifications.
I don't know.
I mean,
Okay. And so he was saying that there's nothing wrong with nepotism, that it's been happening for years in our society, and that's why a lot of people, well,
The
Donald
good old
Trump
boys
himself,
club.
yeah, I mean, like, look at Donald Trump, who, here's a dude whose father, I think, gave him like $1 million or something to do whatever, and he tricked it off. And then he tried to say how he made all this money from it or whatever. And I just feel like when you're trying to rebuild a community, that seems like something that should happen. When you're trying to lend money to people in the hood, kind of like what Marshawn Lynch is doing, is you want that community to thrive. So the people who are there, you want to make sure you help them. And reading Michelle Obama's book, she was a part of, it was like Impact something or whatever. And what they did was trying to get more people into community service jobs. And so they went into the community trying to get them. Yeah, and she was just talking about how a lot of them end up taking high power jobs in legislation and in big non-for-profit communities. But there was a lot of people who, didn't make it. But for the most part, they was very proud. And it's still going strong. And I never even heard of that. So
yeah, I mean, in order for the community to grow, you got to feed into it. You got to pour into it in order to get something out, because it's going to be stagnant and it's not going to grow. And then gentrification is all that.
well, it's another side to nepotism. If you're not a part of that and you can't get in because they're hiring their relatives, then that you're missing out on a skilled worker or a qualified worker. Just because you hire a relative doesn't mean that they can't be qualified, because you can train anybody who can do a job. But it's getting your foot in the door. So if you're not a relative and you're not a close friend, how do you get your foot in the door? Because I see that happen here. Even the government jobs here are going to.
Oh yeah, that's real bad.
It's real bad here for contract. They hire.
Yeah, once you retire.
The mama had the job for 20 years. The daughter graduated from high school. She come right on in under her mama. Not that she went to school, but her mom could train her to do what she did.
Yeah, you are right about that.
Yeah, so it's not just the flip side to nepotism is for not getting people that you're not related to get them in the door. So, and based on what you just said about Michelle Obama, what you just said about Michelle Obama has nothing to do with nepotism, but it's getting the people who are in the community to actually get a chance to work in that community. Because you got people that will come in, like, say, for instance, Chinese immigrants will come to the black community, sell all the hair products and the open restaurants, and the black people in the community they don't have a beauty shop, they don't have the restaurants, and they're having to buy things from people who came into the community.
Right, but I mean, it's still. It's nepotism when I'm benefiting you because you know me, so I don't have to be related to you.
No, I'm not saying related. I'm saying that if you don't know them, you're giving someone a chance who you don't know. You don't have to be related or know them. I say there's a flip side to it. Other people who are qualified can come in and do the work. You don't give them an opportunity because you don't know them and you're not related.
That's all that's been happening. So the percentage of nepotism that would actually affect the growth and the revitalization of a community, I feel like it's worth that because of the fact that the other part has been happening for so long.
Well, and I'm telling you, the flip side is it's been happening on the white side. Black people ain't really been doing nepotism the way the white people do it. They hold them jobs and they lock them in and they keep your black tail out of them. In other words, if you're trying to get a job outside of your community and try to walk in somewhere, and even with we see it here with, when I say Asian Americans, they usually didn't hire black people or people in that community or white people. You know, they kept it within their families. It's a whole of family that run the nail shop, so they know how to do it. We just never did it.
I can't say we never did it. What I'm saying is that we've never been good at doing it. And that goes back to, I feel like with the desegregation thing, we felt like, or even Nick Cannon's comment, we felt like it had to look like, act like, walk like, talk like it was white in order for it to be something that was worth having, something that was affluent, something that was of influence. Because other than that, just like this guy I met the other day, he was a photographer at the
That's colonization. That's what they tell you.
At the game, and he was trying to tell me about how, you know, he's this great photographer or whatever, and I felt some kind of way that he like literally was like going out his way to kind of like barter how well he was. And I was like, just step up and say that, because I'm telling you, other photographers are coming here and tell you, this is my price, this is what it costs, this is what, right. And not only do, you know, people of color do it, but that's what I had watched this thing, and I've said this a couple of times, how they talk about how women do that. Like, we always sell ourselves short or don't feel like we can go and ask for that loan to start a business, knowing that we ain't never going to get the money to do it if we keep trying to do it one way, but we never feel like we have to. And I think it's just that mentality that even though they started to, you know, desegregate and talk about being equal, that mentality stayed, and it just has ran rampant in our communities.
Because if you think about it, back in slavery days, you know, we were beat down and put down and put down. So,
right.
So thinking from a slave's point of view, the best thing that you could possibly have is a white woman.
Right, and that's what Nick
and
Cannon was saying.
Yeah, and that is just carried over.
Success, that meant wealth.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, you know, my cousin, my little baby cousin Tiara has joined us, but she has an organization where she goes out and she brands people, and I know she probably deals with that a lot, because a lot of African American women who want to be able to get in that same arena and do those same things, again, it's just all of the mentality of the way people are. Okay, so then, again, with Killer Mike, he was talking about how they started this Crip-Cola. Yeah, that's what it's called. And so they got merchandise out right now that they're selling, but it's going to start coming to the store soon. And he was saying soda has been the top killer among African Americans.
All this sugar and shit.
For the longest. But the fact that he was just like, he's not trying to put down Coca-Cola or anything else. They're just trying to figure out ways, how can we get into the business of like making this money? Like, is it for real? And I told him, I was like, well, why would you want to make I mean, I guess part of me is just morally thinking, why would you want to make money off something that you clearly know that is not?
Yeah, because baby, you could pour Coke on a battery acid, it'll clean up, it clear rust, it clear all that.
But it's just the point. It is the point
and
of the whole
thing. Make your own African American Coke.
So I get the idea of trying to be an entrepreneur, but I'm like, let's like do some stuff. No,
it's still Coke.
Yeah, it was still Coke. It was still soda, and still. And he was like, it's almost like when you go to family reunions and stuff, and you go around and you look at what everybody drinking. Either they drinking a mixed drink that they made with some soda, or they drinking the soda down to the little babies. I mean, just guzzling them down. You know, you don't see people like drinking water or. You know, and I think juice is just as bad though.
Oh, juice is
all that sugar.
Yeah, I think it's just as bad. All right, so. Social media has came to the defense of lifestyle guru B. Smith, and we kind of talked about this a few minutes before we actually came on air. And I think it's kind of up in the air. I don't know if we came to a consensus or maybe did or not. But apparently she's a former model and restaurateur, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2014. 13, I think. She's 64 years old, and her husband been married since 1992. And now he has a girlfriend who temporarily, off and on, comes and lives in the house with them, and while he's taking care of his wife. And people got mad, and they were like, listen, you living off her and her money and all this kind of stuff, and you got this woman staying in the house. And I'm thinking, with Alzheimer's being the disease that it is, I'm just like, it's not something where when you get cancer, and people have lived long with cancer, but I'm just saying, when you get it and it kind of, you can kind of see, I don't even want to say the light at the end of the tunnel, because I guess that's kind of rude too. But I mean, you know what I'm saying. But when you have Alzheimer's, there are people, yes, who have Alzheimer's that can live 20 years with it, and and just the quality of life that you have as a caregiver. And I know, and the sad part about it, it's almost like I think of caregivers like when we're teachers. You know, they'll say, "Hey, can you just handle this for us?" And you do it for the kids, but you're like, "Listen, if we keep doing all these things, they're never going to give us enough money. They're never going to get another person. They're never going to do the things that they need to do." But they keep playing on the fact, "Oh, it's for the kids." And I'm like, how do you draw the line between being there for your spouse and, you know, having a life?
Well, all I can tell you is mind y'all business.
Tasha Holloman said, no, he is being disrespectful.
Right, Tasha. Mind your business.
Okay, Tasha. I'm with you, Tasha.
Ain't nobody arguing or fussing. They
I'm
all
with
happy.
you, Tasha.
And it's a throuple. They happy.
It is not a throuple.
It is a throuple.
Why is it a throuple?
It's 3 people in a relationship.
One don't know she in it, though. That ain't no 2 out.
But she taken care of.
It don't matter.
And that's the first thing you said. You said you would not want to go to a home. It's not correct what you said. And you said that you would want your spouse, if nothing else, to be committed to take care of you until you left this earth. Well, in doing that, I just cannot believe that they didn't have a conversation before.
I think they might have did
and
it
I don't
too.
think it's our business. And that's the
point. No, he went and did a whole.
I'm talking about the people who are coming after him. I think it's none of your business.
No, he put it out there.
He put it out there.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm saying the people who are attacking him.
Right, I know.
No, but what we're saying is he put it out there, so he's inviting any comments, good, bad, or indifferent.
And also he put it out there saying that he wanted to like bring attention to the fact that there are a lot of people who stand with the caregivers who stand with them and don't have a quality of life. And he wanted to just express the fact. And then everybody, of course, got on him because he's a black man and a woman white.
Yeah.
That's why you keep your business to yourself. You don't have to share everything. I think he was really
just trying to help.
I know, and now they came at him. That's how they do.
That joker hold his ground though. He said,
"Well, it don't matter because I don't think any of them gonna change his mind because I think for him, if he's happy the way it is, and B. Smith is also happy, and I mean because she's taken care of. Yeah. Because having Alzheimer's, you really don't know what's going on, but the quality of being taken care of is, and he loved his wife.
Well, he said it. He was like, on her worst days, she's being taken care of 10 times better than some people. And he was saying how he loved his wife, but he can't let her take away his life. Like, that's a really strong statement.
Alive. He's alive.
Right, but that's a strong statement.
And he in his right mind. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so there's a Georgia man who went to go pick up his girlfriend who was in jail for stealing a car with a stolen car.
He's smart. She gotta keep him.
I was like, dude,
what are you doing? A retro car. What is it, Marta? What you catching, George? Don't they have a Subway or something?
Okay, all right. So before we talk about Kamala Harris, I wanted to read this statement. So they've been eating the what's the girl name? Tommy Lauren up on Twitter.
Oh, she always gets told to shreds.
She like it.
So they said to the Kamala Harris story, "Oh hell no, you damn twit! You have an incredibly orange sexual predator that you praise, who have 5 children with 3 different women, who has screwed porn stars to playmates from here to Russia and back, and you want to point your effing finger at Kamala. Sit down, shut up, you hypocrite."
Well, don't forget he had sex with porn stars with no protection.
You know, I love me some Cardi B when she said something about Cardi. You know, they made it about Cardi said, "Bitch, I will drag walk you."
She will walk you like a dog.
Look, she ain't say nothing else to my girl. Cardi shut that down real quick.
And I'm gonna point something out. Cardi said they both were born in the same year, 1992. And girl, 1992. Yeah. Cardi and Cardi's young.
Yeah, she's barely 23.
Something like that. And they both were born the same year. And Cardi is very successful. And like she told her, baby, I pay more taxes than you ever paid. So I do have a reason to talk politics. What are you talking about? I don't understand people. People trying to tell you who can talk politics.
Yeah.
This is our government. Everybody can talk politics.
Wait a minute. So tell the story on what happened. So she basically said that the Democratic senator who is now the presidential hopeful, Kamala Harris is using her past relationship with the former mayor of San Francisco to boost her career. And apparently she came out of her and was like, Kamala, given you're a vocal and proud supporter of the Me Too movement, what are your thoughts on someone else as an extramarital affair to boost their political career? So
it wasn't extramarital.
Well, that's what he apparently was married, and they had an affair, and so he comes back and says, yes, we dated. It was more than 20 years ago. Yes, I may have influenced her career by appointing her to 2 state commissions when I was Assembly Speaker, and then he says, but I also have helped Nancy Pelosi, Governor Gavin Newsom. Feinstein. So he was just like, let's understand that. He says the difference is that Harris is the only one who, after I helped her, sent word that I will be indicted if I so much as if I so much as jaywalked while she was the district attorney. Now, she is getting a lot of flack because of how she treated people of color while she was a district attorney. And so I was talking to DJ about this, and he was just like, Mom, did you understand? And she's apologizing for some of the stuff. But for the most part, she basically is saying that. And then, okay, so this is what they got on. Her record.
I already know.
Yeah, on that. And then the fact she's married to a white man. And then she had an affair with this guy. So it was like they're trying to say that she's not. And I'm going...
So let me add to this.
That she's not qualified.
Let me jump on in this. First of all...
Welcome back.
Let me jump on this.
Welcome back.
Sarah Kamala Harris. I said Kamala. First of all, DA, District Attorney. I'm sorry, black men, if you thought she was going to come in there and be your friend. This is her job. This is the job, is to arrest people who are criminals. But why go any further? Because people are coming at her about her job. Her job was not to be, it was to arrest people who are criminal. And the one little man I saw on the video stole, got arrested, did time, and he was mad because she charged him. And it's like, that was her job. And district attorney is not a popular job.
Right, it's a part of the system. That the sentences and different stuff that she went, it was. She agreed
to a certain point.
Yeah,
but that's her job. Number one. Number two, the guy that helped her get to help influence her career, he can help influence your career, but you got to have something between your head to keep the job and keep moving up. Because everybody get a helping hand, don't do nothing with it. And I have to say that being the part where she's a very intelligent black woman, we saw her at work, did we not? When she got Brett Kavanaugh, I'm just saying, we're looking at a very intelligent sister. And I hate to see the teardown because of who she dated. What does it matter? We heard her speak. We know she's not an idiot. She has these degrees and she's held these positions. Let's get that straight. And then you're talking about who she's married to. What this got to do with anything? As much as I have drugged Melania Trump, it ain't changed not one Trump supporter. They don't care how her coochie was out on social media. They don't care how her titties was hanging.
Pointing east and west.
No degree. No making sense. Okay.
Gallery over there. But
you understand? But what have we been talking about here on City Keisha and Country Keisha is the difference between how we drag black women. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. You going after who she dated, but we can't go after Trump on who all he done laid up with. Like Tommy Lamb, we sit here going, you praising this man for what?
I mean, but I think it speaks to her character, definitely. Because if you're looking at her, you're supporting a man who take women that look like you and do the things that he do to them.
Oh, I didn't know he was talking about her. You talking about Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know. So,
but I'm just saying that this is the conversation we have been having about black women. Mm-hmm. The same thing that we've been discussing over and over again has come true about what's going on with Senator Harris. All the things that we've been saying to people.
Oh, that's the Bukiti book.
Mm-hmm.
But all the things we've been saying to people is exactly what they're doing to her. They're dragging her for doing her job. Now, in saying she did it bad, obviously she didn't. Obviously she didn't. Because guess what? A lot of you are talking about it. And yes, we've all made mistakes on our job. Mm-hmm. But her job was to do exactly that, was to convict criminals. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, who you married to is your business. And the man that helped her career was a black man.
Well, wait a minute. So you gonna talk about who you married to is your business? Well, Cardi B and Offset are back together.
I heard.
That's that gangsta hood love. That's that hood love. We thought they was gonna get back together.
Wait. I definitely had to put this here.
Phone number.
Right, she said that's something. She said he had to change his phone number, and there was one other stipulation. What was the other thing?
No groupies. No groupies. He can't be around no groupies. Mm-hmm. That was the other stipulation.
Look,
no groupies, and he had to change his number.
If they was gonna get back together when they was on vacation, and Cardi put a post about that D is the devil, baby. You still get. They was back together then.
Yeah, and the thing
Offset was like, baby, I come out. I'm humble. I ain't got nothing.
Hey, I want my wife back.
What?
And like Charlamagne said, the best I'm sorry is change behavior.
And you right about that. Now if
you ain't change your behavior, then it ain't.
Yeah.
And look, he'll be back crying
but
again
you know
on
what?
stage.
I think they really love each other though.
But they're young, like
and
we just said.
Young.
They are very young, and they got all
rusting
this
to
money.
the industry and all this money and access to stuff that they ain't. Well, Cardi been had money though. She been stripping for a while.
But
not
what
like
I'm
money.
That's what I'm about to say.
Money.
No money.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
But here's my other thing. Like that's the thing that we need to start encouraging because I mean, come on. Even though they are celebrities or whatever,
they still people.
Or even they ministers or whatever the case may be. Because we talked about John Gray too.
Oh, I was looking for you, Peaches.
You should have called me.
I should have.
Y'all should have FaceTime me.
No, we can talk about it in a second. But my issue is this.
I need to come to the screen and we finna talk about John.
Listen. My issue is that we don't encourage people through their stuff. It's like everybody want to have a comment, talk about, point their finger, do all that kind of stuff. But nobody wants to say, you know what? Look, I know a bunch of people who didn't do that. Let me encourage them. If you're gonna put something up, you know. And I know that Twitter and Instagram and stuff ride off with all the negative things, whatever. But dang, can we start a positive movement? Where we encouraging people to stay together. Where
you
we
better give me some of them.
Nope. Yeah.
Yes, you are. And can we stop cheating? What? I mean, I don't understand it. He got a good woman. Why you cheating? Mm-hmm. Good Lord. And that's the other part that Charlamagne said. Black men, be faithful. Start being faithful to your wives.
Oh, I agree with that.
Like, I mean, it's so much easier to do that.
It is.
You think, like, hey, I know they don't really like your boy, what's his name who did Why'd I Get Married? Tyler Perry, but he was true. You gonna go get that 20% for what? You gonna miss that 80.
Sure, then when you try to come back, it's gonna be like.
Okay, so did y'all see the resurgence of the viral video where the side chick who shows up at the wedding in a wedding dress?
Oh no, I saw.
And he tried to calm her down or whatever.
He created that mess.
Whole sanctuary would have been total shreds.
But he created that.
Do you hear me?
No side chick, no mess.
I agree.
No side chick, no mess.
We're gonna take a pause for the calls. One quick second. I'm gonna have to come up out these shoes. And I'm gonna show my hotel. But you know what? I wouldn't do it on her though.
I'd have beat him.
I'd have beat his ass.
That's what I said.
I'd have beat his ass.
He started this.
Let me say this.
She might have got some aftermath of disrespecting me. But I'll beat his ass first.
Women.
And here's the deal, okay?
He created it.
And I get all of that. Okay, I'm not taking any. Please, it ain't even like I'm trying to be on R. Kelly style right now. Okay, let's be clear about that. But what I am saying is this: you premeditatedly show up in a wedding gown, and want to walk down the aisle as if so not only I get all the drama that I got to deal with, you gonna show up at like that?
Oh, like I said, she will get an ass whooping too. Hers might not be to the extent that his is. He's gonna get the greater of the ass whoopings, but I would be dishing out ass whoopings all day. Girl,
can I say something?
All you would have, I would be like, who effing who? We all finna rumble up in here.
Well, let me tell you this. What was he telling her for her to show up in a wedding dress? Pretty much he telling her, I love you, I'm gonna marry you. And then he's telling the other woman the same thing.
Okay. I'm like, who are you talking about? Okay.
No, I'm saying the dude. I said, why would you think she'll show up in a wedding dress? Because he is telling her something.
Well, and then, okay.
To encourage her.
I agree with that
to an extent.
I agree with that.
But I still know there's some crazy.
Oh,
yeah, but
you ain't telling. Hold on.
Yes.
That you ain't telling none of that to that will still show up with the foolishness.
And they still catch that foolish ass whooping.
With Martin Lawrence and
A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Well, let's not get rid of the crazy chicks. That's for men. Keep the crazy chicks out of your relationship. Keep them out. Keep them out. And you don't know who crazy. Therefore, don't mess with nobody. If you got a fiance,
I agree. You know, you wouldn't have the drama.
Yeah, honest. You know, that's the solution. We're sitting here talking about the fact that regardless,
that ain't the solution. That's the never get a problem. But go ahead. You never created it.
But it's here. It's almost like saying, oh, don't have sex, but you're pregnant. I mean, we can all day talk about how I shouldn't have sex, but if I'm pregnant, the baby here, the baby comes. Yeah,
that's
so now I'm talking about dealing with the situation.
Baby, I will be an equal opportunity ass whooper that day. Everybody, what you say, everybody getting the smoke. Everybody, and if it was you, and I saw somebody walking down the aisle, you wouldn't even have to react first. I'd be out my shoes by the time she midway. Oh hell no! And I'm already.
This is crazy,
girl. Everybody getting whooped.
Okay, so y'all seen that Married at First Sight?
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently Luke tells his wife he feels repulsed and dead inside after they kiss. So you sign up, okay?
This is new season? Remember, that's what I was watching at your house. A while back.
Married at First Sight?
Yeah.
Okay, all I know is...
I watched it.
It's a new season?
If somebody would say that to you...
We are still married.
You signed up for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You did. What did you expect was going to happen? To the point where you say you feel repulsed. I mean, your choice of words... Not, okay, I'm having second thoughts, but you repulsed and dead inside.
That sounds like a personal problem. Sound like it's something you done to deal with on your own. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hickey heck? Like, tell me for real. So here's the deal. I think that there are some people in certain situations that can handle that, right? Then there's certain people who in situations can't. Just like with any kind of relationship, there are some people that can handle certain, you know what I'm saying?
Certain things.
I believe he knew going in he couldn't.
But that's what I say, he got a problem. It's his problem.
He just wanted to be on TV.
It ain't nothing that lady can do. I mean, can't nobody make you feel good about yourself if you don't feel good about yourself. You got to feel good about yourself.
All right. So Bill Maher, we're going back to Marshawn Lynch. He's a running back for the Raiders. And said he did not vote and why he thinks politicians fail the poor community. And I think you added this because you wanted to talk about what?
Oh yeah, about no, and not just that. This book that I was reading about helping the community, and I talked about this about Trevor Noah saying that teach a man to fish, he can eat. The African proverb, he can eat for the rest of his life. But give a man fish, he only eat for that one day. But teach him how to fish, he can eat the rest of his life. The problem was, like Trevor was saying, was that they don't have a fishing pole. You can teach me to fish, but if you don't give me the tools to go fish.
Right.
This is what I want to come back to Marshawn Lynch. When he said he didn't vote, the white men on the panel was like, and he started saying, hey, every politician I ever met have never done anything for my community, and I just figured I'd just go out here and do it myself. And not saying that he shouldn't do that, but if you don't work within the system to make the system better for your people, then it's never going to get better. once you're dead and people and you like your money stop buying buildings, then what are you going to do? Who's going to work in legislative? And the reason I'm saying this is that we have got to change the system. The system has to be changed. It's been the #1 problem. And not voting means you're not participating. And nobody's saying that he's not doing anything. What he's doing with his money is what he want to do with his money. But is it a long-term fix? No, it's not a long-term fix. It's just a Band-Aid.
Well, when you say it to that regards, that's exactly what voting is too.
Mm-hmm. No. Because if you change legislative, okay, if that's the exactly.
I'm not talking about. Hold on, let me say why. So before you get to getting on what I said, I know I'm saying I'm talking about what has happened. I'm not talking about what could happen. I'm talking about what has happened. Not what could happen in a perfect world if I'm talking about what has been happening with all of the votes we've been casting.
Well, let me say this. Casting the vote is us participating in our government. #1, if legislation has not changed, we would still be slaves. If somebody didn't go in there and change the system and say every man is created equal. That's what the Constitution said, but we weren't living that in slavery times. Even though the Constitution said that. But you understand what I'm saying? The system had to change, or we would still be slaves. Someone had to get in there and change the system, which is why I'm saying that what he's doing, Marshawn Lynch, isn't bad. I'm saying that we've got to figure out how to make the system work for us.
Right, and I just agree with his reason for it, primarily because I could see as a man who grew up with nothing in this hood and going back and seeing nothing changing with as many years as his grandmothers and aunts and everybody have been voting, and he decided to take his money and do something different with it. So I'm not saying that we don't need to change legislation. I'm just saying it has not been working with the vote. So to him, he's looking at it like, me went out and vote, ain't done nothing.
And then too, him pouring back money. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Him pouring back money into the community, it could have long-term effects, because by him buying up the land and the houses and selling it back and keeping the people in that community, that could spark someone else to want to get involved, which can have a trickle down effect. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's the point that I was trying to make.
Even rise
up
a nation.
The point I was trying to make was if you teach people how to be self-sufficient, because that's the other part about charities. You give, and every time you come, you got to give. Nobody's teaching people how to be self-sufficient, and voting is a part of that. Because when you start voting in people who have your self-interest in your community, and who's going to actually go in to make the laws to make life better for you and your community, I think for us is that we don't have people who understand our communities running for offices in our communities. Just like with the president, he don't understand government. He don't understand how what people need. Like, he thought you need a driver's license to go to the grocery store. This man ain't never been to the grocery store. Well, and I'm saying, but he's running the country, and he don't understand that people go to work every day and still can't buy food.
Right. But like I said, like in read Michelle's book, and she talked about how when Barack first became a senator, and her biggest thing was, you know, I know that you're a grassroots leader who want to see change and want to see some real stuff happening, and I'm just afraid that you going and being a senator is really going to change you, because you're going to realize that that's not really how government really works. It really is who has the money and what they're going to do with it. No matter how much you talk about, and no matter how many the right people you feel like you put into an office, the bottom line is it's not the only people that's going to make change are the people who making the money. Period. What? So and the reason why I'm saying that,
but it's the only government we have. I mean, you can't.
But
I'm saying it's the only one we have. We don't have.
So when you talk about voting, and you talk about making a difference with your money, the more people who he can take his money and buy homes for and invest and have them start small businesses, start running on their own community and doing the stuff that they need to do. When they have that foundation and that money there, now their money is going to be making changes. Not because they voted, because they now have that money.
And now I think you're missing the point, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to swing it back around. For Marshawn Lynch, I'm going to say this to you. Keep doing what you're doing, brother, but vote. But vote. You can do both. You can do both.
I didn't miss the point.
Yes, you did. Because you're saying voting. I don't want to talk down on voting, because the point I'm trying to make is legislation changes the system.
Right.
I think it has to be a combination of both.
That's the point I just said. I said he's doing a great thing, but vote.
I know, but except the fact that I don't agree with that either. I believe that money is the thing. Votes ain't what's making changes in the legislature. And we did this with Alec. Yeah. Alec comes along and they create these because, and this goes back to what Barack had done. He had 28, laws he wanted to push towards making improvements and doing different things. Of the 28, in the time he was there, maybe 3 or 4 of them actually saw to the end. Other than that, if somebody had more money and wanted something done, it's got pushed aside, it got this, it got that, whatever. I'm saying that if he's starting with his money and building up these communities, just the same way, Jay-Z is working on reform, and him and Meek Mills, just the same way as Killer Mike is doing this and that and doing whatever.
Against him.
No, I think...
No, I'm saying what he's doing is great. I said, but vote. You need to do both. Don't do one or the other.
But I think what she's saying is voting is really not going to make that big of a difference. And
I'm saying it will.
But I don't think it will either, though. It may make a small difference, but not as much as you think. Because look at Georgia and Florida when Stacey and Andrew was running. You know what I'm saying? They was both talking about things that could have positively affect us as a community, as African Americans, as Florida, as a state in Florida, and as a state in Georgia. But they didn't get the votes, so therefore they couldn't get into the seat
to make the. They didn't get the votes. Now say that again, my sister.
But
they didn't get the votes because votes matter.
But you know who did get the votes? These people who are supported by the NRA.
Let's
you know what I'm saying?
But they voted.
Had they got into office,
and
we did all this stuff to do with it, it would have been the same thing. The money at the end of the day is what changes
because the NRA, Monsanto, and all these
proves that for us. All of the stuff that Alec does, you can bring as many laws and stuff that you want, but whatever they want to push, the money is going to be in period. And so
you making the same point. Alec is changing the legislative to work against us. But they're using legislative to change it against us. But because of legislation.
No, it's not because of legislation.
Okay, so they're not changing laws to fit them.
If they did not have money, they were not going to change a law.
So Marshawn Lynch don't have money.
That's my only point. If they did not have money.
What she's saying is the only reason why they were able to get to the legislative process to begin is because they had the money to push them.
Not because they went out on November the 4th.
And not because they was knocking on doors.
I'm saying Marshawn Lynch has money to actually work with legislative if that's the way you want to go.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, I'm saying that he has money to change the system.
And I heard you said he needs to vote and he needs to vote. So I heard that. But you cannot talk about what I'm saying and can't even put it in a sentence like I just did for you. Which is what? What am I saying?
You're saying that money is the reason that everything is going around. It don't have anything to do with vote. It's the people with money.
No, I'm talking about Marshawn Lynch. And while you were saying that his vote needs to be the thing it should count, and I said his vote does not matter, because what matters is the fact that he's going to go and start increasing in these communities, doing the stuff that he needs to do. So when you say to do both, I could see the effects of that. Like I've been voting since who's the first president I vote for?
So what's the difference? Well, I'm saying that he needs to do both. I'm saying he needs to do both. He can build in the community and he can vote. I don't think he have to do either or. There's no reason. You're not a slave.
Okay.
And the only way you're going to change government is to participate in government.
But I feel like this, just the same way, you make the comment that he's not a slave. I mean, everything that has been talked about in this country over the past 10 or 15 years revolves around the effects of slavery, revolves around the attitude of people who either were slaves or who owned slaves. And so that whole mentality and all of that stuff, no matter how many laws we have enacted, has not changed much of nothing.
It actually has.
Okay. Because
we're not slaves.
All right.
And we do have the right to vote.
I think
so what Martin Luther King Jr. fought for our civil rights. We have the right to vote.
Okay, so
to participate in government. Before then, we did not have the right to vote. We could not participate in government. We had no say so. There were no black senators. There were no black congresswomen. There's no black woman would have ever ran or thought about running for president. So those things have change.
Those two things
just
have
because
changed.
You got people in the office don't mean that the country
because the mentality is still the same though, baby.
You got money and bought some buildings.
The mentality is still the same. Regardless of you're right.
And there you go. And there you go. The mentality has because Marshawn Lynch has the ability to vote. And you still acting like you don't have
no. Because even like listen to what you just said though, Keish.
Yes.
We have black senators, we have African American, we had a black president, we have people of color in position to make legislative changes. You know what I'm saying? We have the ability to vote. We have our American rights.
How many do we have? We only have a few.
But listen though,
they only get one vote.
But I'm going off of what you said. That's gonna make the huge difference. That's the difference between then and now, right? But because of the slavery mentality that's still in this United States, regardless of whether they have those rights or not, that's not those rights really don't mean nothing because we're still getting lynched, we're still getting killed by cops, we're still getting beat, we still getting charged for murders and getting sentences. You know what I'm saying? We're still considered they're slaves to them. They're just not. We're not out in the field picking cotton and getting whipped, but they're still enslaving us in other different ways. We out here getting ran up and down the football field. They
give you some money, and that's what you think is the difference.
You know what I'm saying? So what has to change is the mentality as a whole. Us voting, yes, that's a good thing. Yes, we have those abilities and those freedoms to do so, but it's only going to go so far.
I'm not saying vote is the only thing. I said what he's doing is great, but brother, vote. Come on, take part in your community and take part in the fact that you are an American citizen. It's the only voice we have is our vote.
But he also has the right not to, though.
Yeah, I didn't say he didn't have the right to vote. I'm just saying that if you really want to make a change, be a voting participant in our government.
Right, and that's the only issue that I have with what you said.
Because voting is not going to see an immediate change in what he sees every day.
Is the statement that you made. I voted, and I think I put it up on Facebook. There's not an election that's been in that I haven't voted in. I get all that. But when you say voting is going to make the change, I don't see it. That's just my opinion.
Then don't vote. If you don't see no change, don't vote. Why do you vote if you don't think it's going to make a change?
Well,
you just doing something.
That's what Marshawn Lynch is saying.
Yeah.
That is what he's saying.
You obviously feel like it's going to be something.
So you
why
know
do
what?
You vote?
Well, here's the deal. Because of what you just set up here and said. You started 10 minutes ago on this whole thing to vote. You started all this stuff to vote. You know just as well as I know that there have not been many changes that really have made this whole society on the principle of equality. Oh, okay, all right. To be and not to be. All right, so understanding your purpose in your marriage and your relationship. Being honest about the hurt places so that the enemy can no longer have a stronghold on you or your relationships. Trusting God and turning away from the distractions of this world and leaning in on the promise of God. And that came from the John Gray thing. And it was like, I think so many people, Cardi B and her husband, you know, there are people who go and clown because I think somebody was like, they're already taking bets that 3 months or 6 months he'll be back at it doing whatever. And I just think like when you understand your purpose or why your relationship is put together, because when you actually take those vows and it talks about that, and if you have, you know, I feel like if you guys are equally yoked and you feel like this is what you needed to do, there's going to be hurt places because everybody's an individual. You've been raised in an environment where your experiences are going to come with you one way or the other. Now, regardless if you want to admit them or not, if you came from a family with a bunch of people that was yelling and screaming all the time and being disrespectful or fighting or doing whatever, that's what you're going to, and no matter how hard you try not to, at some point it's going to rise up on you, or you're going to feel like it's okay, right? And you make the change through the relationship that you in so that you can make a difference for your children. But if you don't, that's why generational curses get started, because it's like, okay, my parents cussed and did this and did all this kind of stuff, so guess what? That's what my kids have gotten, and then they keep doing it and on and on and on. I just feel like when it comes down to relationships, no matter if you're dating somebody, if you're married to them, if y'all been married for 20 years, 2 months, dating for 6 months, we got to start thinking about what is the importance of having relationships at all. I think society has totally changed that idea of what that is, and so many kids don't have a good role model to that. I thought we had bad role models. You know what I'm saying? Like there were times, I mean, my mom, it's been worse. My mom had, you know, I just feel like my dad died when I was young. And my mom remarried somebody who I was just not really fond of. And it was really, you know, a bad situation. And I know there's habits and things that I learned from her based on how she dealt with her relationship that I had to go through and deal with mine with. But I just feel like if we're talking about being healthy, we got to do that. Because I mean, working in high school, I see so many kids in these little relationships and stuff, and they're so sad. Like literally, I walked out my room today, and this boy had this girl all yoked up, and she crying every class period to get out to go talk to him. And I know that's probably something that she's seen a lot of. But it's like, where are we trying to encourage the healthy growth? To be able to know you're going to be two different people, that you're going to have two different opinions. But at the same time, how can we not feel like you're a punk if you're going to do this? Or you know what I'm saying? And how are we encouraging our young men? Especially, we always talk about women that are raising their kids by themselves. How are you really encouraging him to be a man? And be able to understand women and to not have to feel dehumanized because that's what you've done to him, and so now he's expecting that from the woman he's with, or vice versa, where you babied him the whole time and then now that's what he wants to see happen. And I'm like, how do you draw a balance on that and be aware yourself of what you're doing and how we're feeding it to these new generation of kids? Because I get so tired of people always constantly talking about them, but ain't doing nothing to educate them, ain't doing nothing to be there for them to when they're making these mistakes and teaching them how to come back from them and be better people. So I just feel like if we're going to really start talking about marriage and relationships, we definitely need to include this young generation of kids. And I mean, I was just talking to my son. Bless his little heart. And, you know, and I know that he's the kind of kid that really wants to see people do well and want to do well. But I think he himself struggles, and I'm glad that I'm able to talk to him. And I'm just honest with him. I'm honest with him about my relationship. I'm honest with him about the stuff that have gone on so that he can make better decisions. And some stuff he'd be like, for real, Mom? And I'm like, yeah. And then there are other times, you know, and I guess it's just how old they are. The older they get, they start to realize certain things. And if they come and ask you, be honest. Talk to them about it. Tell them your mistakes. Help them through it. I was in the grocery store, and this one woman was wilding out on her daughter and talking about how she wouldn't have did this and did. I'm just like, come on. So then what are you teaching her? So that she can be, you know, have a thug life boy who going to be doing all this kind of crazy stuff to her because you're going to clown and go to jail and do all this kind of stuff. What are we saying? It is so sad, and I'm so just, okay. I can't, it drives me bananas, and I'm like, I know that there's some stuff that we can do. And I know it's not going to be something that's going to be easy, but it's necessary. And I know, and just like even in church, I don't think that that's fully the answer either, because then they take a whole different approach to it and make it seem like, you know, you need to be this doormat that do X, Y, and Z. Even though they preaching love your wife as Christ loved the church, but you see a lot of these people with men in influence that are treating these women like they property. You know, doing the same thing. And I just feel like it just needs to be like, I like the Me Too movement. I like the Black Girl Magic movement. I like all of that. But more importantly, I just feel like we need to teach women how to have healthy relationships. Even friendships. They don't even know how to do that.
But one, keep everybody out your business. That's the main problem.
But I think when you tell your business, though, is when you're helping other people.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you're trying to, like with Cardi B and Offset, everybody know what's going on with them. Now everybody's in their business. Like, she's got to shut everything down just to preserve their relationship, because being out there with this social media thing, everybody wants to put their business out there, and some of that stuff you need to keep private and personal. You need to not, and I'm saying some of the stuff you need to have just for you and your spouse, so your relationship can work without everybody with their ear in it, where everybody got something to say. Like, something that happened between me and my spouse need to be me and my spouse. We need to work on that, not everybody. You know?
I agree with that.
But I think once you work on it and you get to the other side of that, you sharing that.
You have a testimony, but I'm saying until then, the problem is we put too much out there before we gotten to the other side.
I agree with that too, but I also think that sometimes if you're in a situation and y'all can't resolve it yourself, you do need to go seek counsel or seek guidance from somebody outside of who's not in the, because you know when you're in the midst of something, you only seeing it from your point of view. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be with somebody, a counselor or a therapist or whoever.
Just not social media.
No, not social media.
I'm saying, because that's what you were originally saying about relationships. And it's like this thing of, I guess we could go back. however many years before the internet, to where you really had a personal space. Now everyone have everything out there that is not so personal. I just fed my husband steak and potato. Everybody don't even know what you just fed your husband. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're inviting in millions of people into your small space that really should be intimate. And when we say intimate, I'm saying not so much as
and
everything.
I agree with that, because it's like but I'm just, I guess my heart is going out to these young girls who don't know how to have relationships.
Well, the first relationship they need to have is with themselves. We need to teach them about self-pride, about being selfish, because it's something about women that we don't know how to be selfish. We give everything. We give everything to everybody, and we need to teach them how to put themselves first. Because once these young girls, and I was one of them, you want to put every dude ahead of you. You want to do everything for them, and they ain't doing nothing for you. They ain't doing nothing for you.
Well, you know what, and I think we're going to challenge ourselves this year to even offer some advice like that, like for real deal. I mean, and get personal about it, because I think that they just don't, and they come out and they get into these relationships and they have these children and they but I'm just saying
they don't know how to say no.
Being taught,
like even some of the teens at church, like some of the girls, I feel like I've gotten a little closer to, and it's a couple in there that I've said to myself, okay, I'm gonna have to help her. I'm gonna have to kind of mold her, and it's like taking a chipping at an ice at a pit. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. I try not to be too much with it,
right?
And I try to approach them the same way I do with Gabe. Okay, when you come to me, you got my number. Call me. We'll do whatever. I'm here, and.
But I think some people are more kid whisperers than others, and I think that parents have to understand that your children are not your personal property.
Yeah.
And so sometimes God will put people in their in their space, or things that they may need, but then they pull their kids away because it's like, oh, these are my kids. But the thing is that now you're going to be dealing with them a year from now when all this stuff is going crazy, when you had somebody who was there that was humble enough. Now, you know.
Absolutely. Because when I talk to these girls, I talk, like you say, be honest and transparent. Look, let me tell you, you can't do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's what they need. Like, why I said you have to have a strong core of true friends who are going to be honest with you and tell you the truth and help you. You
have to build these girls' self-esteem up. So one of the things that we have to do with our girls is build them up. Because low self-esteem are usually why girls end up in bad relationships. They have no
knowledge though, but I mean,
but they don't know no better.
They have no
think about this though. But even if you have a girl that moderately, I mean, we all as women growing up, especially in your 20s, you know, it was something or another. But I'm saying, even if you have somebody like that, but maybe you didn't have anybody because you didn't have a good example of relationship growing up.
Yeah.
You go to your friend's house, they mom and dad dealing with the same stuff, or they mom with their boyfriends or whatever, and so you making it up, right? So then, back when we were younger, TV was a little cleaner. Things were a lot cleaner. So we got, even though it was still it was kind of fairy tale-ish, which made us even, you know, can be just as bad. But nowadays, on social media, they looking at these examples, and it's the examples where, you know,
it's almost like a young man whose dad is not in the house. He has no example of how to be a man, how to be a father. So he's learning from his mom, his aunts, uncles, whatever. But you don't have that in home or on TV. All you know is Jay-Z or 2 Chainz or XXXTentacion, and all. These are your examples. Same thing with a young female. You don't have anybody, like you said, Keisha, nobody in your house telling you you're beautiful, telling you you're smart, telling you you deserve this, telling you something, you know, that you are worthy of any and everything. And there's nobody there telling them that, like, you don't, you know, okay, a dude is nice,
nobody
but
telling them
you're enough. You are it.
But that's what you're saying, Peaches, and what Keisha is saying is that when you're saying they don't have a relationship to look at, if you build their self-esteem up, they know what they don't want. They know what's not good for them.
But you got to have parents who do it.
No.
I'm just saying they don't know what's going to happen. So even if I'm feeling like, oh, I'm not going to take this, I'm not going to do whatever. But if nobody is like, you know, you might ride the fence, and you may make a good decision and not do it.
No, I'm just saying that you're good enough. You're good enough to be who you are. But in other words, you're not trying to fit someone else's mold of what you're supposed to be. Like, and I'm saying for bad relationship, guys tell them.
But you got to have somebody in the house.
He said that. He told them that he's the only one that loved the girls. And you got to know that there are other people that love me, and I love me. I love me enough to know that I don't have to hang on your every word.
Right,
but you got to have somebody in the house that's pouring into that kid.
That's
you can't have it. Yeah. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't have. You can't be pouring into your kid if you still out here trying to wild out and be popping on Instagram and you trying to.
You ain't got no self-esteem.
And if you ain't grown,
we've had this conversation too, because I've always said
you can't parent nobody when you trying to.
You can't pour water on the kid and expect them to grow. That's been my model for years. But we talked about this. We were talking about how the sacrifices you really give up if you're going to be a parent. There's some stuff that you just cannot do. That you don't. I mean, when I say cannot, not that you don't have the ability to do it. You just make the choice.
You had it right.
I had this conversation today with my boo. We had this conversation today, and it went back to Pastor Gray. But we're gonna touch on. And the thing is, I'm somebody's mama. I always tell him that. When he'll be like, do this. No, I'm somebody's mom. The first thing that come to my head every time before I do something, I'm somebody's mama. And I had this friend who had this little short dress on, and they was like, you was out there looking a mess. And the thing that should have went through her head is, I'm somebody's mama. What would my kids say if they saw me like this? And it's the question that...
the dress that she had on?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, wait a minute. One time we were
but
at the
I'm
pool,
somebody's mama.
And I went to do something, and my swimsuit turned a little bit, and I looked up, and that was DJ. He was like, you got to go take that off, mama.
But I'm saying that's the question. And the reason we brought it back to Pastor Gray was we're going to go on tie it in. So... what I said last time, Peaches. I said, where is that damn Peaches?
Right here. I'm right here.
Hey.
So what I was telling Keisha was, apparently, we know why he bought the Lamborghini. Because the next story, remember I told you.
The next story about he was sleeping with the chick and she got pregnant.
She got pregnant. He got her pregnant.
You know what I mean. But that goes back to what we first said.
That girl ain't pregnant.
No, but that goes back to what Keisha said initially. They're still human. We put these celebrities and these pastors and these people of influence on such a pedestal, and we don't allow them any human grace. Like, he's a man. Yes, he's a pastor. Yes, he should be held to a higher. You know what I'm saying?
And
but
this is
human.
What me and him was talking about
he's
today.
Human.
It goes back, because this is what I said
he's
Pastor
human.
Gray should have said when this woman, if the woman came at him or whatever, or he went after the woman, however the way the relationship started is, how would this affect my relationship with my church? With my wife, saying, no. Even me being a human being.
But we talked about that to the flesh every day.
It ain't because I say I'm somebody's mom before I do something. I'm somebody's mom.
But there are times where you may have felt like you somebody's mama and you did something where somebody else said you somebody's mama and you shouldn't did it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is somebody's pastor. He is somebody's daddy. He is somebody's husband. However, he is still a man. He is still a flawed man. He's still a simple man who's preaching. But yes, because
flawed.
But y'all people hold him to this big old superhuman standard.
I'm not. I don't even know the man.
But you
just told me. No, I said the question I said was he should have asked himself.
Yes.
Well, how would this affect my wife?
But when you are in your flesh,
that ain't got.
Yes, it do. Because
that ain't what I'm saying. Let me finish. I'm saying. Let me finish because I'm going somewhere different than where you're trying to take me. I'm saying as a man, as a flesh and blood man, before he got involved with this other woman, in his head, he should have said, how would this affect my life? This ain't got nothing about putting nobody on no pedestal. I'm not
talking from that point either.
No, I'm saying even as a woman and me being a mother, I have to say, how would this affect my children if I do this? And the reason I said that is not just because he's a pastor and a man. I'm saying we've got to take accountability for the decisions we make, because we've got to sit there and say, if I do this, what would be the effect of that? Now his wife is on TV talking about the devil, and I was like, no, your husband decided to do this.
Yeah.
Your husband decided to do this, and I don't get into putting pedestals up on men. He's a man. Okay. I know he's a man. What I was talking about with my boo today is that men don't tend to ask themselves that question.
They don't.
What?
They don't.
Wait, what?
The question of how is this gonna affect my family if I make this decision to go labor? Because if he had asked himself that question, because that's what I was telling
he might have did.
We don't know, and we both said we don't know. But I said if he had asked himself his question and realized and said to himself in his head, this would embarrass my family, this would embarrass me, this would make my credibility go down. It ain't worth it.
But do you
no, I'm just saying. I'm saying to myself.
But do you not think he knew?
No, I don't think he even thought about it.
Of course he did.
We don't know. We just said we don't know.
But the reason why I say we don't know.
Him
cheating.
I don't want you to seem as though you're defending a man who cheated on his wife.
No, I'm not defending him.
No, she's not defending. We're talking about
what was going on.
Yeah.
I think it's more so on the fact of when people take a person and their
status or celebrity,
what their profession is or whatever the case may be. Because I believe to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
And so at that same vein, when somebody doesn't do something, that's just a natural way of stuff. Like every day you're not going to make the right decision. Sometimes your flesh will get in the way and you'll go and do something. You'll be like, ooh, we've done it our whole lives. And to say that you won't do it is you already setting yourself up to be tested for that.
That ain't what I said. I said if the man had asked himself the question and even answered the question like this would embarrass my family, I think he wouldn't have never even went there.
That's what I just said. If you said that you wouldn't do it, he did. I'm saying that understanding the fact that those things are going to happen. Like it just happened to him where he was talking to some lady on the phone or whatever the fleshly thing or the sin that you're doing. We can't live on this earth for another 40, 50 years and think we ain't going to sin and do nothing wrong. Even if you ask yourself 15-minute questions. You're going to keep doing something
what
wrong.
we're talking about.
It is because you said up here and
said
I'm not
saying that
nobody. You said if he had asked himself that question, he wouldn't have done it. Is that what you said?
No, I said if he'd asked himself that question and realized that it would embarrass his family, but that it would. I don't
think that would have made a difference.
Hold on. You said if he had asked himself the question, knew it was going to embarrass his family, what?
He wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
I just said. That's exactly what I'm speaking to.
The part that I was interjecting in is that you were saying that we're all going to sin.
Yeah,
and nobody's saying that we're not going to sin.
Well, you just said that he would have prevented sinning.
I'm saying in this particular instance, not every sin. I'm just saying in this particular instance that men don't.
Why we gotta make a choice?
Because we do that daily. Isn't that what you just said?
Which means he made a choice.
No, I'm saying you just said we make.
We said the same thing. Okay,
I'm saying that.
We said the same thing. I want to talk about Neva. She's having her Estes Original Art Gallery Night tomorrow. She's one of our friends. She's actually going to do our first hip hop 90s paint party. And so she's having her Estes Original Art Gallery Night tomorrow from 7 to 9 at Enlighten Studios, 142 Miracle Strip Parkway. So if you are local in the area, please come through. This girl works hard. She is doing her thing. And I almost couldn't find her because, she didn't went back to her maiden name. And I was just like, Lord, somebody help me.
Well, I didn't know.
Brody was her married name. And so now she's back to Estes. And I was like, whoa. Okay, but anyway, Neva's doing her thing. She's stepping out and just trying some new stuff. Like really going towards her art, which she's really good at. So regardless if you're coming by or shop around or decide something, we would love for you to come out. So it's tomorrow from 7 to 9 at Enlighten Studios at 142 Miracle Strip Parkway. And it's on Facebook. It's Estes Original Art Gallery Night. Now, we're going to share it. And we have we're going to have a hip-hop 90s trap and paint party.
Hip-hop and paint
party. It's going to be in Niceville, Florida. It's going to be March the 3rd. So look out for the event. We're going to put it on Facebook. We're going to put it on Instagram. We only have 50 spots
First come, first serve. We are not holding no spot. Do not call us talking about hold a spot. We're going to set up the Eventbrite.
Yeah, it's already set up.
It's set up. Go to Eventbrite and guess what? And get your ticket.
Yeah. So tickets going to sell on the 3rd. of February, and the event is March the 3rd. It's on a Sunday afternoon from 5 to 8, I think, or 6, something like that. But you'll see all the details on there. Right. And trust me, do not pass up the opportunity, because the woman who's doing this, we're going to do the bamboo earrings, at least 2 pairs. Yeah, baby, it's going to be nice. And we got a whole thing planned. Food is included, drinks,
entertainment. You got City Keisha and Country Keisha. We're going to bring it. Come on, Keisha.
And if you cannot come and you still want to give a donation, it'll be set up that way too, that you can donate towards our podcast. And then also we're getting ready for our 1-year launch party, so we're excited about that. Yeah,
but come out and hang out with us. We're gonna paint, and for the ones who never painted, it's a awesome treat. And for the ones who've done it, you know how good it is. Come out, and Neva is our sister that's doing it, and she got the hair flip. She got the what? I loved it. I love it.
She's doing her thing. So you'll be able to see the flyer of what we're gonna paint, and we just want you to go in. First come, first serve. We only have 50 slots. And shout outs to Bridget at Corner Cafe. That's my girl. She is going to allow us to lease her, to rent out her property. And so I'm so excited for it. And hopefully we'll be able to do another one before the summertime hits. But if you again want to donate to the cause, you can donate if you're not going to be here. And that's about it, I guess, for tonight. What you got? Oh, the Fry documentation on Hulu.
Oh yeah. Did you watch it?
I have not seen it.
Did you watch it on Netflix?
The whole idea. No.
So I watched the one on Hulu, and I said I was gonna go watch the one on Netflix.
I watched it.
But girl, it was so bad. It's worse than the article.
Oh, okay.
When you see how it was set up, and homeboy is a straight crook. Oh my goodness, he's a straight crook.
So y'all need to be careful of that. My son sent me a thing where they have a new cruise line that's owned by blacks, and so maybe we need to do like a big cruise event too. Maybe Keisha and Keshia can podcast on that. That would be fun. But this year we're gonna try to get into some good stuff, do some different things. So we hope to see you at Neva's event tomorrow, and then to see at our event on March 3rd. And from the outhouse
to the penthouse.
We out.